3, 2, 1, go. Hi everybody, and welcome to a guide illustrating how to use and how is structured the appendix to the paper illustrating the height data injection enabled simplified terrain system and other 2-3 algorithms which by the way share the same theoretical basement. I'm Simon, who identifies usually as the nerd of algorithms. So let's start. As we know, a difficulty with producing scientific communication, any material of that kind, is that scientific communication involves the use of text as well as figures, formulas, more or less of them, it depends, and often also video footages, because a scientific communication has to be, first of all, as univocous as possible, then as clear also as possible, but also it has to be as complete as possible. But the simultaneous presence of these three things, this is text, formula, and figures or videos, visual materials, so to say, makes editing of scientific material very difficult and very tedious work. And I've encountered this problem while I realized that, okay, I thought I will put the precise lemmas, enunciates, proofs, and comments of the 6 theorems of mine about polygonal surface approximation, underlaying that those 2-3 terrain rendering, surface rendering, or polygonal surface approximation algorithms similar to each other, which are illustrated in the paper I mentioned at the beginning, which is at the time of this recording is not yet ready. In fact, we are on the point. I realize that even doing that takes a lot of time, but editing correctly in a readable, at least acceptably clear way, the presentation of mathematical theorems is so time-consuming and tedious that it would force me to waste months on doing just the appendix instead of doing other more useful things. Where useful, I mean useful in the context of a clear documentation. And so I had an idea, however unconventional, but after all, it's a situation. It's the context to force on a rather unconventional solution. And it is this. I thought that since I made the theorems and I'm perfectly familiar with them and I have spontaneously lots of comments to do on them, I thought the good but less time-consuming way of presenting them is to make a video of each other, of each, sorry for the error, a video of each video like 15-20 minutes, where I take some figures pre-printed, photocopies of them, I take some colored pencils, and I explain the theorem, I add occasionally when it's needed arrows, side notes, letters, whatever, points, and I explain it. And I think that so there is much less waste of time and energies in editing a text where so that the schemes, figures be clear. Often they would translate into a sequence of figures in each of which, after all, not much changes, but an arrow is added, but that must be clear. Then colors must be used, the labels must be added here and there, and so on. I thought, I take a camera, a bunch of white A4 papers, a pen, some color pencils, some photocopied, pre-printed figures according to what the theorem has to say, and I explain it. And so it's much easier, the information is there, and I think so the very presentation also is a bit friendlier. And well, as last two things I want to say. Of course, this may seem a sort of negligence, but after all, since, by the way, the whole theoretical research, especially in mathematics and also algorithms, all the documentation and revision work and all that stuff, let's say only mathematics, so we are not too pessimistic. The whole theoretical research is in several crises in the world, and it's been so for several years now. And so I think that the listener, the dear public, is will at least appreciate the fact that still, at least the situation notwithstanding, there is still some people left who is doing some serious theoretical research and tries to compact and revise results a little bit so that the results can be used later by other people, which so won't have to waste too much time or energy in just collecting the information, which, moreover, if it's not compacted, it's raw, and so not too clear often. This is one thing. The second is, I know that, as you two know, it may very well happen that some of the theorems of mine have been already discovered by someone else. But this happens quite often in these fields, and of course it's like that. I have just been very careful to collect the facts into theorems, which are organized, they are exposed, so that one can refer to them. And these theorems clearly have a presentation, set of a way of presenting the hypothesis, the lemmas, then the proof, and after clearly also corollaries and final comments, so that they best fit to the context of providing a theoretical basement for that set of terrain rendering algorithms which I have devised, of which the most important one, just to say, is the height data injection enabled simplified terrain system. And okay, I'm sure that it may happen that some of my theorems have been discovered already by someone else, but this happens quite often, and well, don't worry about it, neither do I. After all, you can bet that I did quite a serious research on each of the facts which were needed by the algorithm, and when I just didn't find any material providing a ready solution, I had to devise it. After all, when a discovery is made almost perfectly, by definition, one cannot be 100% prepared to it, because otherwise there would be no discovery. Discoveries come from problems to solve. Problem to solve appears, and it must be solved, even if the people who are called to solve it are not prepared. Well, they get prepared, and so I did. So, I hope you will enjoy the videos presenting my 6 theorems on polygonal surface approximation, so that while reading the paper on those terrain rendering algorithms, to which the theorems provide theoretical basement, well, and what else to say? I will do the videos. They will be numbered. The title, the number of the theorem will appear, and it will have a title like presentation of theorem 5 on polygonal surface approximation. And okay, this is it. Hope you will enjoy it, and that you will enjoy other things and the various flavors of the terrain rendering algorithm I devised too. And bye bye, regards, Simon, the nerd of algorithms. Bye.